friends and companions along this path of spiritual practice. I'm still holding on to the topic of equanimity. As we bring mindfulness practice to our own mind, we enter into the realm of karma and practicing with our orientation, our disposition, our values, these frameworks that establish our direction, our path in life. There's an old Zen story that is a favorite of many. In a forest, there is a small monastery cared for by a student monk who is also taking care of his retired old Zen master. One day, he's informed that dignitaries are traveling all the way to the quaint monastery because they have a beloved Zen garden. And so the student monk rises early in the morning, goes out with the rake, and he starts manicuring the landscape. He starts cleaning and organizing the Zen garden so that the dignitaries might find the garden to be as beautiful as they have been told. He works at it, sweating. He works at it for many, many hours. And just as he's about to conclude, he notices the old Zen master sitting on the wall behind him, next to a tree. He turns around, and the old Zen master says to the student monk, "Very, very nice. Good job. It looks beautiful. But there is one thing that is missing," says the old Zen master. And the student monk is puzzled and wonders and finally asks, "What is missing?" The old Zen master grabs hold of a branch on the tree and gives it a wild shake as leaves cascade down onto the pristinely manicured, raked Zen garden. "Now, that's perfect," exclaims the old Zen master. I love that story because it does speak to this practice of equanimity, about not wanting for a particular situation to just stay as it is, nor wanting that particular situation to be other than it is. When I think about that beloved story, many students who hear that story will say it's about a Zen aesthetic. It's about what is organic and natural, about letting leaves fall wherever they may. That's what the story is teaching us, that what's missing is that Zen aesthetic. But they would be wrong, because if you have ever seen a Zen garden, it is beautifully manicured. It is pristinely attended to. Every detail attended to by the students who are caring for that Zen garden. It's not about a Zen aesthetic. Well, what is it that's missing then, that makes it imperfect? Some might say that what is missing is actually the Zen garden itself. That the student monk, who symbolizes all of us, right? That we obsessively, compulsively wake up in the morning, and until we go to sleep, we go about raking the garden of our lives, organizing every single detail, that the ego imposes its structure upon our world, upon our lives. And in so doing, what is made invisible is the world itself, is life itself. That in organizing, categorizing, and controlling everything, that what becomes absent is the vitality, the play of life itself. So some might say, just let the garden be. Well then, what might be missing is the monk himself. Is our raking, our manicuring. If making the garden go away through our compulsive activity is one concern, the other polarity is just as much of a concern, which is about retreating, withdrawing ourselves so that we don't actually bother with tending the garden at all. As I think about the story, both efforts, either the self that imposes itself on the garden, or the self that withdraws from the garden, both strike me as strategies of the self to protect itself, the ways that you and I secure the self amid an environment that is constantly changing and fluctuating. Friends, whatever equanimity is, it is neither about withdrawing the self to protect the self, nor imposing the self again to protect the self. Maybe what is missing in this story is this state of mind and being called equanimity. About a self that is brave and courageous, that is curious and uncertain and unbounded enough to enter into this relationship with the garden and with every falling leaf that lands in our garden. A self that is brave, that is confident enough to even be curious about the walls of the garden, curious about what we even mean by what is outside and what is inside our control and our responsibility. Whatever equanimity offers us, friends, is curiosity about the possibility of a self that is beyond a compulsive manicuring and managing and a frightful flight from being in relationship with reality as it is. What if equanimity is a practice of discovering just how large and wild and encompassing ourselves really can be? And so we continue with our practice.